Welcome to the Tuesday, May 4th, Ross Valley School District Board of Trustees regular meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order. It is 6:01 p.m. and we are going to go into closed session for approximately 60 minutes. We have a couple of items on the closed meeting agenda. We have conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code 54957.6, all bargaining groups. And we have a public employee evaluation for the superintendent. Both of those are discussion items, and we will come out of closed session when we're done with those and reconvene. Okay, so I will call us into closed session.
Oh, and let me just say first that we have no public comment on closed session topics.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, welcome everybody. It is 7:13 and we are moving into the open session for the Tuesday, May 4th, Ross Valley School District Board of Trustees regular meeting. And in order to go ahead and start that meeting, we are going to, let's see, I guess we are on item C, which is our Pledge of Allegiance. And just before, as I've done a couple of different times before a Pledge of Allegiance, wanted to just note a couple of things. I wanted to say happy or welcome everybody to the Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. And I was just thinking about, you know, lots of times the Pledge of Allegiance is a time, and we do this with our kids to think about things. And being that it was Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, I was reflecting on the time that I had spent in China when I was in college. And let me see if I can pull it up here. I had a poem that I was gonna, you know what, I can't navigate around my my screen right now, but I think this is a good time for us all to just reflect on our democracy as we say our Pledge of Allegiance and all of the various people that contribute to our democratic institutions. So everyone who would like to say it with us, go ahead and unmute and we can go ahead and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Okay, we will move to adopt the agenda and the time allocations. Does anyone have any questions about the agenda tonight? It's a fairly small agenda, but if there's anyone who has any questions, or if not, we can go ahead and take a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second, Ryan.
All right. We've got a motion by Wesley, second by Ryan. Do a vote. Wesley?
Aye.
Ryan?
Aye.
Marie?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
And Shelley? Aye. Okay. On to item D, communication. Are there any public comments, Marcy, on items on and not on the agenda?
There are not.
So no public comments. And board announcements. Are there any particular board announcements?
None from Wesley.
None from Wesley. Marie, no.
None.
Rachel or Ryan?
None from me.
Okay. Then we are on to correspondence and communication. Marcy, can you?
Yes, we have 3 items for tonight's board meeting, and one is from MCOE with a letter regarding our second interim budget, just thanking us for doing that in a timely fashion, and also for being able to show that we have a positive ending fund balance going forward, and thanking us for considering all the elements that we always need to do in order to have our district fiscally solvent and to be able to move forward. And the other one is a letter from an employee who is resigning and at the end of the school year. And then the third one is one from a parent from Whitehill who would like to recognize her child's math education this year.
Is there any plan to discontinue Math 7A or Math 8A at the middle school next year?
I I'm not certain that the conversations have landed on in any way that there would be, they are certainly having conversations around offerings at the middle school, but I have not heard anything about the outcome of those.
And we have, I believe, an in-person update from the Yes Foundation. So we don't need to read that in a letter. We can get an in-person update.
Thank
Hi,
you.
everyone.
Chelsea, thanks so much for being here tonight. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Hi. Yeah, I'll give an update as to where we are here in May. So at this point, we've roughly raised $625,000 for the year. Our goal is to reach 820,000 for the end of the year. So we've still got a lot of ways to go right now. We have a big uphill battle, but just some updates as to where we're projecting and how we look. Before I go there, we're overall as a district, we're about at 47% participation, which is really low. And obviously it's a hard year and it's a pandemic year. As we meet monthly with other educational nonprofits in Marin, that is not too uncommon, but it's concerning, and we'll talk about that. Some little positive news is we've heard this week that we received a $25,000 California COVID grant, which is great. That's not part of the 625,000. We're hoping to receive those funds within the next 2 weeks. So we're happy about that. We've done some targeted messaging this week to families and reaching out, some outreach. And from that, we were able to raise about 15,000 from those families. Again, not incorporated in the 625. So that's good. We will be doing that to the end of the year. And we're really hoping that, you know, we can get some more donations from families, because that's really where we need to go with that. Another effort that we have worked on is what we call the Yes Realtors Art Circle. And we've reached out to realtors in the community asking for help and asking for business partnerships. And through that, we've generated $15,000, again, not encompassed in that 625,000. So we're going to be roughly at 680,000 by the time that all comes in. However, we're still under 200,000 away from our goal at that point. We're about 170 from our goal. And we have a lot of work to do. Through our targeting campaign, or through our targeting message to families who have not donated or families that may have donated in the past, we've sent out messages through various board members trying to communicate with these families, saying, you know, we need you at any level, you know, and not at the family ask of 900, because we know that's really, really hard for families right now. We've received a lot of feedback from families, and because of that, we've decided to host a town hall question and answer from Yes this Thursday at 6 o'clock. It's online. We've been sending the link out to folks, and we're also requesting questions up front. So we're receiving a few questions right now, so we can be prepared for that. You know, with a participation rate of under 50%, we know that many folks have been impacted from this pandemic financially, but we are also finding out and have been hearing over the past months that, you know, folks are not are looking to find the value in the Yes programs, and we're having a hard year, and we're not feeling like they were able to donate because of that. So again, we're hoping that this town hall, we can respond to folks who have these questions and some concerns, and we're really hoping we can turn some families around and get some donations, because as you all know, you know, this is our second year of a deficit, and we really need to hit that number to make sure programs aren't impacted. We've met with the district recently just to talk about where we might be if we don't hit these numbers, and you know how programs will be impacted. So we are sending up the flag, saying, you know, now's the time. We really need to get that number. So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done there. Through these questions as well, we found out that, you know, we need to provide more education to the Ross Valley District community about, you know, what Yes does and what is a relationship with the Ross Valley School District and how we work together. So we're really working hard on building that foundation, and then helping to teach our community about the Yes Foundation and funding through Yes. I wish I had better news, but we're still hoping for more donations this next few weeks. But we still have a long ways to go. And I'd be free to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate all your additional efforts this year, going after grants and also really reaching out to the community, because I think that's really helpful and critical, just as we continue all to move forward into whatever is going to be our post-pandemic new being. So thank you. Really appreciate it, Chelsea.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to come in periodically and kind of give us an update on what's going on. We really do appreciate that. And I think it is a good opportunity. I appreciate the fact that you're also having that town hall and doing that community outreach, because I think that'll have, a long-term effect on the success of YES in terms of just engagement with the community. So that's great.
And we realize that it's hard to get people on Zoom these days, and we're going to make sure we record that and get that out to the community as well.
Great.
Yeah, thank you for your work on this, Chelsea. Keep your chin up. I think that this is a byproduct of everyone being away from school, I think. And I think things will turn around in the next school year.
Yes, we hope as well.
All right. Any other questions for Chelsea before we keep moving?
Keep going. Good luck.
Great.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Thank you.
See you soon.
All right. Report out from closed session is the next item on our agenda, but both of our closed session items were discussions. So there's no action to report out on either of those. And then we are going to move on to item E, which is presentation and action items. And the first one of that we have is a recommended approval of AB 1200 disclosure for California School Employees Association, Golden Hind Chapter 719 or CSEA. Mercy.
So much. All righty. And Chris Carson is here with that one tonight. And anytime you do a settlement with any of your represented or non-represented employees, this requirement for AB 1200 needs to be completed. So Chris, take it away.
And actually, I think I'm going to turn it over to Esther Salinas, Dr. Salinas first, so she can discuss the item.
Thank you, Chris. This is a bit of a tag team because both items are closely related. And so what Chris was bringing forward is related to the next item. And we're pleased to say that we do have a tentative agreement that has been ratified with CSEA. And of course, that is provided in the attachments for your review. And so we're looking for your approval of this tentative agreement. But closely linked to that is the AB 1200 that Chris is going to discuss. That is the reason why we want to come to you for this approval.
Okay, so what I wanted to discuss this evening just has to do with the specifics of the AB 1200. What AB 1200 is, many years ago, districts got themselves into financial trouble as a result of salary agreements. And what came out of that is all districts now, whenever they have a salary agreement with their bargaining units, now must put together this AB 1200, provide it to the County Office of Education, and provide the County Office of Education certain pieces of information and the opportunity to take a look at the agreement and see if the district can afford the agreement as you move forward. And what we've done this evening is we've provided a copy of that that is attached to the item. And as you kind of go through it, what you notice is that what we provide is a multi-year projection of the impacts and effects of the agreement on the financial statements. And so within that, you have to provide the impacts upon the fund balances, as well as show your increases in expenses, both in salaries and benefits. In this particular agreement, it was just for the benefits. So all you see are benefit cost increases. And the district is able to afford it as provided. And then the final component of the AB 1200 is the superintendent and the chief business official need to sign off on it for approval. And also the president of the governing board once it's approved by the board.
Thank you.
Thanks. So we're both, there's an approval required for the AB 1200 disclosure as well as an approval required for the actual agreement, correct?
Yes, and the reason you do the AB 1200 first is to show that you can afford the approval of the tentative agreement. Yeah, and this is also the same agreement that was reached with all represented and unrepresented employees. So just health and welfare benefits for the 2021 school year.
Got it. Okay, so we're approving the disclosure that we can afford it, as it's stated, and then we go, okay, now we can discuss and see if we want to. We can take a vote on the second. Great, thanks for that clarification.
2 separate agenda items. Yeah.
Okay.
And the actual agreement is to take the health and welfare benefit cap from $10,036.92 to $10,578.72. So it's that slight increase.
Any other questions from the board or discussions before moving to a motion? All right, anyone want to make a motion? And the motion is on approval of the AB 1200 disclosure.
I'll make a motion that we approve in the recommendation.
I'll second.
Ha! Wesley beat you to it, Marie. All right, so we've got
Wesley was fine. Yeah.
a motion by Rachel and a second by Wesley, and we'll go ahead and do a vote. Rachel?
Aye.
Wesley?
Aye.
I will say aye. Ryan?
Aye.
And Marie?
Aye.
Okay, so we have approval on the AB 1200 disclosure, and then we will move on to the recommended approval of the actual 2020-2021 tentative agreement between the Ross Valley School District and the California School Employees Association, Chapter 1719. Any other presentation or discussion needed on that one?
I think you're good unless you have any questions.
Okay. All right. Since it's kind of a double there. Any other questions on the actual approval? If not, all right, we could go for round 2 of a motion.
I'll make a motion.
And I'll second.
All right. We'll go with that. So we've got a motion and a second from Rachel and Wesley, and we'll do with the vote. We're going to mix it up here. Actually, Rachel,
Aye.
Wesley,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Ryan,
Aye.
Shelley, aye. All right. So that was approved as well. And we can move on to number 3, which is recommended approval of a request by the YMCA for a rent relief due to the coronavirus pandemic as an in-kind contribution for the services that they provided to our students throughout the district, rendered to students of the district during COVID. Marcy, do you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yes, thank you. As probably everyone will remember is that when we were in Virtual Learning Academy, the YMCA not only operated its before and after care programs, but it ended up being a full school day operation and really provided the learning hubs for any of our students in our district who needed a place to be if it wasn't in the home for school. And of course, some of our schools, White Hills specifically, was able to offer learning hubs on the campus as well, but we don't operate the Y at the middle school. They don't provide the before and after school care. And so with the service that the YMCA provided to our students of our school district, felt that in order to support what the YMCA was doing to support our students, that it was really critical and important that we partnered with them in a way that would benefit all of our students' families in the district who needed a place for them to access their education. So with that, when the YMCA, we were talking about their rent for the year. We thought it would be a good idea to provide look at it as service providing an in-kind contribution that the district could do so as to waive their rent for the entire 2021 school year. If you all, those of you who were on the board last year, you may remember that the board did approve a rent relief when we did close down all of our schools for March through June of 2020, since the pandemic hit and there was no opportunity for students to be on campuses. So recognizing in partnership with the YMCA, staff is recommending approval of a rent relief. And I just want to ask Chris for a second. Chris, do you have anything to add?
Nice job covering it.
Thank you. Any questions from trustees? Comments?
I don't have any questions. I just would add that the YMCA has been a great partner across the entire county with the Learning Hub work that they've been doing, both in our district and throughout the county. And they and other, organizations really stepped up and did a fast pivot. And then the collaborative working relationship between the enrichment services and the before and after care and the supports. I mean, they're all our kids, so we're all kind of wrapping around the kids to give them all that support. So I appreciated that partnership that they had and the way that the schools and the principals and the staff really helped, had a place to refer students who were really struggling to, was fantastic for so many of those families. And that referral system, I think, worked really well. So I appreciated everything that they did.
Absolutely.
Anyone else? Any other questions? Otherwise, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve that request for the in-kind rent relief. So,
And I second that motion.
great. So we've got a motion and a second, and we'll do roll call. Shelley, aye. Marie?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
Wesley?
Aye.
And Ryan?
Aye.
Great. Please do convey that to the Marcy, as well as all of our appreciation for what they do for the students in our district that really have relied on them and needed it in this really challenging year. So please let them know how much we appreciate working with them.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. And so we're on to item F, which is our consent actions. We have 3 things on consent. Is there does anybody, any trustees have any question about any of the consent items or need any clarification or anything before we approve consent? Nope, seeing none. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to move consent.
Second, Ryan.
All right, so we've got Wesley motion, Ryan can second, and we'll do a roll call. Wesley?
Aye.
Ryan?
Aye.
Shelley, aye. Marie?
Aye.
And Rachel?
Aye.
Shelley, do we have to
Okay.
raise our hands when we vote? Because I kind of like that, but I just want to make sure I'm voting properly.
No, but if
Okay.
we're, you
All
can
right. Hey,
wave, you can do whatever you want. You
making
can
sure.
be as enthusiastic as you want when you say hi. All right. So consent actions are approved, and we will move on to item G, board business. So committee updates or reports from trustees. So any committee updates or reports from any trustees? Rachel? Yes.
So I had lots of meetings this month. I have 3 that I went to. Let me pull my notes real quick. So I went to the DLAC meeting, which is the District English Language Learners Group, which is a really great group to go to. It's, I love going and listening to what people have to say. They went over resources for summer support for students. It was an LPAC update, which is like the English language proficiency status in California for students. There is like this great push from the teachers to explain to the children that like being bilingual is a superpower and it'll help them when they get older and it'll be a really big asset for them. So it was really supportive and it was great to see that they were pushing that and explaining that to kids in a way that kind of would connect. There was a little bit of discussion about the upcoming CASP testing. there was the presentation of the Parent Equity Task Force newsletter, which looked beautiful. And I hope everyone's had a chance to look at it. And then there was the mention that TAM District has some classes available for ELL. So like you can look into some of those extra classes if people are interested. And then their next meeting is May 26th at 6 p.m. So I'd invite people to go to that. It's, you know, it's a really good group. It's very supportive and welcoming. So I also went to the YES board meeting. Chelsea gave you the major update on that. So I don't think there's much more to add, except for that I did get to hear updates from the teachers who were the YES teachers, which is always just a joy to see what they're doing in the classrooms and to hear feedback from the kids. And then Safe Routes to Schools met as well. They're going to be doing a traffic study at White Hill to get an idea of the busing needs. And I think that might also be involved in like for the elementary as well. But right now their focus is on White Hill since that seems to be the major need. And they're not sure. They're going to do the study and kind of do a car count and see, you know, how is traffic getting to school and what their need will be there. And then they're going to give us hopefully some more information after that. And then we kind of got a recap of what Safe Routes to Schools has been doing in this pandemic year, since, you know, it's harder for them to be interactive. But they all have been vaccinated for COVID. And so all of those teachers have been able to go on campuses now. And they just started at Hidden Valley and did a bike rodeo for the 4th graders. And they've done other things like there was a chalk campaign. So on the routes to schools, there are these cute little spray stencils and chalk on the way to like encourage kids to bike or walk and just fun messages. And those were really neat to see. I saw some of those as well. And then they're also doing a push to do safety for teen drivers. And so there are a lot of videos that they made, a point of view sort of video where it would show you what the intersection would look like. And it would give, you know, younger students, driving students, a way to like look for safe habits and driving. So those are all my 3 meetings.
You're great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for going.
Yeah, very much. I know I've been seeing more of the kids biking around town, like around, you know, in school time. I was like, oh yeah, everybody needs to remember kids are back on the streets on their bikes.
Yeah.
We
Drive
haven't seen
safely.
that for a year, so drive safely. Marie, did you have anything updates?
Nope.
Nope. Wesley
None,
or Ryan?
none for me.
Okay. I was at the Superintendents Council meeting, but I will let Marcy do that. Marcy, I'll let you do an update in your update. And then the only other update that I have is I was contacted by the person with the Marin County School Boards Association, who is the, write it down here, who is the delegate for the California School Boards Association. And they have an annual like an annual conference where they gather all of the key issues that school board members want to have raised up to the state issue. So what I wanted to let you all know, and I'm going to get back to her and have a meeting with her. So if there's anything that you want to pass along to us, send an email to me and Marcy. If there are key kind of general topics that you would like to have raised up to the State School Boards Association at their conference, and then we can pass that along to the delegate who's going to do that. So if you could do that sooner than later, by in the next couple of days. So if there's any kind of key big issues that you want raised at the state level, and copy Marcy and I in on that, that would be great. So that's my update. All right. We are now moving on to the approval of meeting minutes for April 13th and April 22nd, which was a special board meeting. So I don't know if there are any amendments or edits or adjustments to either of those 2 board minutes.
I don't have any amendments, but I see this as one item. I was not able to attend on the 13th and will be abstaining on a vote on that, but I was able to attend the lion's share of the meeting on the 22nd. So I would be able to approve those minutes because I've reviewed them.
Marcy, do you know, should we do them together or separately? Does it matter?
He can abstain if he wants to abstain.
Yeah,
Just for that
I'm in the same situation because I didn't attend the 13 either.
Okay. You know what? Let's just go ahead and do 2 votes on them just so that Teresa can get all of the notes down and not get anything
Perfect.
confused. Yeah.
Thank you.
So let's do, are there any questions or edits or anything? Let's start with the first one. So any questions or edits for the April 13th minutes?
No.
Nope. And if not, then we'll go ahead and take a motion on that one.
So moved, Ryan.
I'll second it.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do a vote. Ryan,
Aye.
Rachel,
Aye.
Shelley, I, Wesley, you were here on that one, yeah?
Abstain.
You abstain, Anne Marie?
I abstain as well.
Abstain as well. Okay, so that one is passed with Shelley, Rachel, and Ryan, and Wesley and Marie abstaining. And then we will move on to the April
So
20th.
moved.
So, April 22nd. So moved, Anne.
I'll second.
Wesley's fast tonight.
Okay, so we'll go Ryan and Wesley. Let's vote. Ryan,
Aye.
Wesley,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Rachel,
Aye.
and Shelley. Aye. Okay, great. Those are our board meeting minutes. And now we are on to the superintendent and cabinet report. Marcy.
All right, thank you so much. And Chris, do you have any updates for tonight from the business department?
Just a brief one. Just wanted to let the board and superintendent know that we are working really hard preparing for our fiscal audit. We have the first round of it coming up in the next couple of weeks. I wouldn't normally talk about that, except that with the COVID pandemic, there's been some major changes to the way we take attendance. And so we're working hard to ensure that everything is in order, conducting our own audits, those types of things. So it's just something that the staff has been working a great deal on, and wanted to make sure that the governing board knows that we're working very hard and taking this part of it really serious with the way that the changes have been coming down with attendance. So that's it for this evening.
Thank you, Chris. And any questions for Chris? All righty, Julia, anything from curriculum instruction?
Yeah, a couple of things. We have launched our CASP testing. And so as always, hats off to Sean and his team for getting all those Chromebooks out there and getting everything set up. Brookside went ahead and started this week, and we have several schools starting next week. And it's going really smoothly. So that's lovely. And last week we had our very first parent guardian equity listening session, which was facilitated by Dr. Brown from Epic Education, but really the lion's share of work came from our equity team parents, who just did a beautiful job of putting the whole piece together. Marcy and I attended, and we were a part of the main session. It started with just a prompt. The prompt was, what has been your experience in terms of race and equity within the Ross Valley School District? And they used a tool called a Padlet, where they could kind of pop up and just give input there. And then they went into breakout rooms that were parent facilitated. Marcy and I kind of stayed in the main area to talk about their experiences. So looking forward to debriefing. And that is coming soon. And then I feel like there was one more thing I needed to mention, but it has just popped out of my head. So I think we're good.
Good. Julia, what grade levels are being CASP tested this year? Is it 3 all the way through 8?
Yeah, 3rd through 8th grade. It's a little different in that the CAT, which is the computer adapted test, which is the one that's more like multiple choice like, is half the length. And so that part makes it easier, and the reporting's a little bit different. And we've been principals have worked with teachers, and Sean and I have worked with teachers to really kind of lower the whole affect of the whole thing and just keep it really calm. We don't want any kids to feel like, to feel badly about where they are in terms of what this whole year has been.
Right.
So boosting up their confidence and just taking it as any other task that you might do within your classroom. It's just one snapshot of information.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
All righty. And Esther, any updates from Human Resources?
Just a couple. Human Resources is busy this time of year, especially with hosting interviews and with the natural attrition of our staff. So we are definitely navigating that. We've been holding interviews for a number of positions and in the midst of some right now. Also this week, you may recall, a few weeks ago, you approved the resolution for Staff Appreciation Week, and it is here. So all of the school campuses are appreciating their staff, from administrators and teachers and our classified staff members. It's just so impressive, the amount of work that all of our folks are doing. And so tomorrow, the district office staff is going to be celebrated and appreciated as well. We just, in particular for our district office staff, so many things happen behind the scenes that impact students that may never be seen. But we're definitely thrilled about that for this week especially, and every day moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther.
Mhm.
And Eric, any updates from Student Services?
Absolutely, 100%. First of all, just in the realm of special education, there's a lot going on. Spring is a really exciting time of transition. And so that means transition from early intervention to TK or K. So there's a lot of hard work there to really ensure that we're setting our youngsters up for success as they're coming into one of our classrooms. There's also, of course, transitions from 5th to 6th grade, which is special to see that collaboration. High school transitions. A couple of us visited high school 1327 last week so that we could get more familiar with their different special education classrooms, which have even evolved and changed since I was last there in 2014. And then, of course, there's also transition meetings for our Ross Valley students that attend programs offered in non-public schools and MCOE classrooms. So a lot of exciting things happening. We're planning for extended school year, our special education summer school, if you will, that is for students to support them and sort of not have a regression of skills over the summer months. So that's very exciting. Our wonderful EL teachers, Angie Kastner, Kelly Eiler, continue to finish up the summative LPAC test, which is a lot of hard work, but it's a great way to really assess where those are. And for a lot of students, they'll be ready to exit EL status, having reached a level of English proficiency that means they don't require that intensive support anymore, which is amazing. And also, too, just want to recognize our Human Resources Department, Dr. Salinas, Lori Ross, all the hard work to post positions, attend job fairs, set interviews. We successfully hired a new school psych, which is really amazing. And we have other positions we're interviewing for. So feeling very grateful for the collaboration there. And that's it for now from Student Services. Last thought is next week, we're very excited to present the data from our California Healthy Kids survey. And we have over 350 of our district students that participated, which is very exciting. So we're going to really take a deep dive into what we're learning from the kids, next steps, and how we look to open up next year with positive momentum. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. All right, and I bet that was one of the items that Julia was going to talk about related to summer school. So curriculum and instruction is also busy planning summer school. Julia, was that the one you forgot?
Yep.
I thought so. Yeah, so do you want to take it then?
Oh, no, you go for it.
Okay. Well, we have our two co-principals for our TK through 8th grade summer school, our Matt Katanzarita and Maria Lubomirsky. continuing to partner together, this time for our summer school, which will be for all of our students who will be identified to attend summer school. And the attempt is not just, it's going to be a change up from summer school as what many of us may remember from back in the late 80s or 90s, which is that it will be a focus on the whole child and not just anything that might be a learning loss deficit, but really looking at supporting children and having a lot of fun while they're attending. And so Madam Maria, along with Julia and all of the principals, are working together to develop the program. And the sites are busy getting their lists together for children who will be referred for the summer school program. It will be by invitation only. And we are very pleased that we have a number of our teachers and other faculty and classified employees who have indicated interest in operating that program. And the benefit of having our own in-house employees participate is that they know our students, they know our schools, they know our curriculum, and they know how best to support. And so we may end up having to hire outside of the district, but hopefully we will get all of our employees from within. And also we're very thankful to our employees for that, because a lot of other districts, their employees are really needing the break for the summer and aren't interested in doing their summer school program. So we're very thankful for our employees. And Julia, did I forget anything? All right, so then also, just as Shelley mentioned too, Superintendents Council, we had a meeting last Wednesday, and our topics for that were schools reopening 21-22. We're now, of course, with the end of the year coming upon us, focusing our efforts on next school year. And as you all know, we've been talking about for many, many months now, planning a full return for next school year, full school days, 5 school days a week with all of our activities, programming, an enhanced version of everything into what our new normal is going to be looking like. And that will be the focus also on our next Superintendents Council, which is on May 19th. The standing items that have been on Superintendents Council for all of our meetings this year have been schools reopening, LCAP, and then now a new one that was added was our extended learning opportunity funding. That funding is a one-time money that will be coming from the state to support school districts around operating in, whether we're still in a pandemic or post-pandemic, to ensure that our students, staff, and families have supports moving into the next school year. And so the ELO, or extended learning opportunity, is related to the funding, comes with it the board needing to approve a plan that will come forward to you on June 1, and also stakeholder input. And so we're in the process of gathering that. And we had one element of that was Superintendents Council. So got some great ideas there. And of course, continuing to brainstorm and look at what from various perspectives of our stakeholders, our students, staff, and families might need to support them in 21-22. And then moving forward into our next Superintendents Council meeting, those 3 items, LCAP, schools reopening, SB or AB 86, the specific portion of extended learning opportunity, that will continue. And then another new agenda item for the next meeting, which will be our last meeting of the school year, is going to be parent engagement. And so that's Superintendent Council taking us through to the end of the school year. And then looking forward to next week, because we have the back-to-back meetings, we wanted to extend to next meeting, May 11th, next week, our next schools reopening update number 17 for you all. And the focus will also be on 21-22 school year. And Esther mentioned Staff Appreciation Week, and we're always so thankful to every single one of our employees in the Ross Valley School District. We've got a fantastic school district. And if it weren't for our 3-year-olds on up to our 14-year-olds, none of us would be here. So of course, first and foremost, we thank our students and families. And then most importantly, on top of that is our employees. And we couldn't do anything that we do without them. So appreciate them this week. And I think that is it. So any questions for Superintendent or Cabinet?
Well, I had a quick question. I should have asked it a little bit before. The summer program, how many weeks are you going to be having this program? Is it like, how long time is that?
Or, hi, it's Julia.
Yeah, Julia, yeah.
4 weeks,
4
and
weeks.
running from 8 to noon.
Okay, perfect. And how many students are you kind of counting on enrolling?
We are in the process right now of making that determination.
Got it.
Principals are meeting with staff to really look at the need, and then we're going to base it on that. And then, of course, it's also depends on how many teachers we're able to employ for that.
Well, give us an update when you have like all that nicely rounded up. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I had a question. I don't know if there had, I'm getting a warning note here that my connection is unstable. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I very recently, within the past few days, there's been some piece in the news indicating that some kids may become eligible for vaccination. I was wondering, you know, starting at age 12, I was wondering if MCOE had reached out to our district at all, asking whether the White Hill site would be available for vaccination. I know we're getting close to the end of the school year.
Wesley,
and maybe it won't really work over there, but I was just wondering. Yeah.
Yeah, and Wesley, maybe turn your camera off right
Can you
now.
hear me?
Yeah, yeah, you are going in and out now, but maybe turn your camera off. And that might help a little bit to preserve the connection. Now he's frozen. I do have information related to that. MCOE did reach out to all school districts in Marin to see if there was any space or property. And what they were very clear about was the requirements necessary in terms of you have to have the ability to line up 50 cars. And there were some so unfortunately,
let me think.
Yeah.
Let me think.
Yes. And actually Wesley has dropped off. So I will. Oh wait, no, he's there. I just saw him again. Everybody's moved on. Okay.
No,
So
I think he left. He'll be back.
There he is. Okay. So now, but his usually there you are, Wesley, you're back. Can you hear?
No, he's still.
I can hear you. I fell out for a minute. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So did you hear what I explained about Marin County Office of Ed reaching out to all school districts to see if we had the space available to host a vaccination pod, point of distribution? Oh, he's frozen again.
So you don't have to repeat it again.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
And
we'll let him know.
The other elements related to the vaccine being available, it's not ready yet. We just had a call yesterday with public health to give an update. It was a community update this time, which occurs every once in a while, once a month with Marin County Office of Ed, as well as Marin Health and Human Services. And so they did give an update on the vaccination status, and it does look like that the Pfizer vaccine will be approved for 12 to 15-year-olds, and it's not quite ready to be rolled out. So there's some more hoops that have to be jumped through, but we hope to hear, I believe Dr. Willis said in the next week as to what that status will be. And so as soon as we have information, as we have been, anytime there's information related to spots opening up or anything coming up available, we push that out to our families. And so now that communication will include the 12 to 15-year-olds. And Dr. Willis also explained that why, because some good questions came up in the chat. For example, if both parents or guardians in a home have been vaccinated, is it necessary to vaccinate the child? And how he responded is that because the children aren't just located within the home, that they do go outside of the home if they're participating in sports or other activities and or school, that they are exposed. And so there are other ways that, that children can catch the virus and not just in the home. And so they do recommend that children, when they become eligible to receive the vaccine, should also receive it as well. So hopefully that it was a recorded event. And so it'll get posted on the MCOE as well as MHHS websites. And then as soon as we see that recording has gone live, we'll push it out for any families who were not able to attend.
Great. All right. So any other questions, Superintendent? Questions or on the superintendent? Nope. Okay. We can move into our meeting review, item I, future board topics and board direction. I know as far as agenda setting, Marcy and I have started talking about just gathering future board topics to start looking at the next year's list, next year's agenda items. And so definitely continue to forward any issues or topics that you'd like to have kind of scheduled out for the year to Marcy, so that we can kind of look at those short, long, medium term and figure out how they fall out when we do agenda setting, because we do both short-term agenda setting and then, okay, here's stuff going forward. So continue to put those out there to Marcy for that.
Right. And next week, we will have another closed session. But remember that there is the meeting with MCOEs hosting a meeting for trustees on SB AB 86, as well as Brown Act, specifically closed sessions. And that will be from 5 to 6:30. So we will adjust our start of our board meeting and the timing of that accordingly next week. And that's the 11th.
Good heads up on that. Okay, meeting debrief. Any thoughts or comments on the meeting debrief?
I wanted to just make a note that I do appreciate the organization that goes into making these meetings very efficient, and also I feel as though that the staff and Marcy really does a good job of outreach of all these materials for anybody that really wants it.
Mm-hmm.
So the transparency aspect of these meetings and the flow of which they take place, and the prep work that those that are presenting have done is very appreciated, especially because time is a very valuable asset to not us, but everybody. And I just wanted to go on record to note that I appreciate the organization, the structure, and the work people put in ahead of time.
Thank you, Ryan. Much appreciated.
The only other thing I was going to say in terms of meeting debrief, and I think I forget where but that we will be looking at, and Marcy and I are going to be doing a training with DWK on migrating into our new normal for the board and figuring out what that, and coming together and getting some ideas on what it will look like when we all get back together in person, and how to kind of figure out what that's going to look like, because there are still going to be possibly some people that are virtual. Are we going to do it hybrid? What are we going to do with recording? So we were going to go to a training on that, see what other districts are doing, and then we'll bring back a proposal and have a discussion for everybody on that as well, to see what that looks like now that all of the kids are going back and people are starting to move around and we're seeing them bike to school and all that. We'll have to look at our new normal. So, and again, if you have any thoughts on that, or if you have any, Marcy, when is that training that we're going to? May?
I don't have my calendar up, but if my memory serves, it's the 3rd week, or it could even be the last week of May.
So if you have any specific questions that you would like us to maybe get some answers on to, definitely let Marcy know, or myself, or both of us. If there's specific questions that you have or concerns that you have, let us know so that we can ask those and get those answers for you guys in that. Any other meeting debrief? Nope. We can show you how to do the blurry background if you want. No. It's a setting in, but maybe we won't have to do that for very long. All right. We do not need a motion to continue the meeting. And unless there are any other comments, I'm going to do one more call for any other questions or comments on meeting debrief. Okay. Well, thank you all for Ryan, as you said, being efficient with our meetings. I know we've had a few more meetings every month than we normally had said we were going to have one, but they're short and sweet, so that's a good thing. All right, I will then adjourn
All right,
this
I'm
meeting.
gonna
What do you-
sign off just because I've
Go for it. We're adjourning. It's 8:07.
Goodbye, Wes.
Everybody can sign off. Thank you. All right, 8:07. We're going to adjourn.